is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb and welcome to Numerical Night Movement. So this is the way the module looks. It is a 4x4 essentially chessboard, and what's going to be happening here is that we have a series of different numbers that are going to be present on the module, in which this is how many times we have to land on each of these specific tiles. And the way that this works is what we have to do here is we have to figure out a way how to travel to each of these tiles in the exact amount of times, making them all essentially 0. So the way that this actually works is based off of the movement of the knight. And the way that the knight moves, as you can see down here by this proper diagram movement, is it essentially moves 2 in one direction and one in another. And it specifically refers to, it's almost like an L piece in a way. That's kind of one way to think about it, L or J movement. And this is essentially the way that we're going to be doing with this. This is essentially what we're going to be doing with this module. And we have to use our knight movement here. So what we can essentially do here is we can kind of just do like this back and forth sort of deal. Like this almost in a way. And we can kind of just start solving things and whatnot. And in this case, what you have to do here is you're trying to get all of these numbers down to 0. That's going to be what we're trying to do here. So that's what the goal of this module is here. And what we have to do here is we have to figure out a way how to essentially get what the correct path for this stuff is. Because that's what's going to make this module very, very tricky to do. So, and actually the nice thing about this module is there actually is a way to reset this module. There actually is a way that you can do this. And what you have to do is you have to essentially, if in case you are stuck after moving or you want to just return to the original board, you can press the tile that the knight piece is currently standing in on 2 times to reset your board back to the beginning. And as you can see, it completely resets back to the original state. So then you can select another starting point after performing this. So you're currently off the board right now. So you can find another starting point to begin at. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing with this module here. Now, immediately one of the things that I'm already looking at is the fact that this 6 exists, and it's going to be quite a big number. And already one of the things that I can already actually recognize here is if we take a look around, this 1 by itself is only linked to this 6 here. We already can actually rule out, we actually can already potentially make this as an endpoint. We can find our way to the 6, get it down to 1, and end at this 1 here, because that's the only one, it's the only possible way that we can get to a specific number, because every other direction leads to a 0. So this actually is guaranteed to happen in some way, shape, or form, whether that be a starting point or an ending point. And essentially what you kind of want to do, you can kind of brute force this if you wanted to. It's a nice solo for the diffuser. There is obviously much nastier examples that you can get, but you kind of can just brute force this because as long as you do not strike and do not do a move that is invalid, you should be fine. So we can probably, what we can do is we can start worrying about these 5s because this 6 is just going to be around here. And it already has actually 3 different numbers that can actually, can just be responsible for taking care of it. So let's think about this. Actually 4 technically if you consider this 5 over here. So let's consider the following. So maybe we can start at this 3 for example. Or perhaps this 5. Or maybe a 2 for example. And I kind of want to get rid of this 5 in the corner because this one is really nasty right now. So, but the way that we want to do this is going to be a bit interesting. And this 3 actually is also screaming my name too, because there only is one connection to this 2, and we kind of want to use both of these 2s to get rid of this 5. That's going to be kind of important here. So perhaps what we want to do is we want to get rid of this number as much as we can. Then what we want to do is we want to focus on these 2 1s, then get over to the 5, then get over to the 2 2s. Maybe that's what we want to do. So let's just go down this path and let's see what we get here. So we're going to do, then bring it over to this 6 here. Let's finish off this 2. Okay, now we'll head on over to here. Let's get rid of this 1 immediately. Let's get rid of this 1 because we need to take care of that as well. And then let's try to focus on this 4 here. Get rid of this. Bam, bam. And already I'm kind of seeing problems here. Bam, 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 bam. And this is not going to work, as you can see. We're not able to get to this point. We need to find a different path here. And I believe we're kind of on the right track. I think these 5 and 4s are going to have to use in some way, shape, or form. So maybe let's start here. And bam, 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 bam. And we head on over to the 4. But now what we have here is we have a bit of an issue. There's no way that we can get to the... there's no way... I mean, there is actually technically one way. But it's going to cause problems because of the fact that we're going to run into issues with this 5 over here. No, actually, we might able to do this here. So we get rid of this 1. Let's get rid of this 4 here. Oh, here we go. And just like that, we actually happen to be incorrect here. So we actually need to figure out something else. Let me think. Maybe we follow down the same path, but instead, what we have to do here is we have to sort of do more back and forth with the 5, and then what we're going to want to do here is we're actually going to go from the 6 to the 1, then the 3. Maybe we have to do that. So I started with 5 here. 5, 2, 5, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Then we do 4, then the 6. Then we get the 1 out of the way because you don't want to have to worry about that at all. Let's get done with this 4 here. Let's do you. Let's do you. Let's do you. You, and we haven't run into the same issue. Okay, so maybe there has to be a different path that we have to take here, essentially. Let's think about this very carefully. Now, the issue that I have with... the one thing that I'm very concerned about here is the fact that we only have... these 2's are connected to this 5. And we want to make sure that we at least have some sort of pathway to the 5, whether that be starting there or ending there. Let's think about this very carefully here. And perhaps maybe what we need to do here is we do maybe 3, 2, and we kind of just get rid of this little bit right here. Yeah, this is going to run into problems, I can already tell. Yeah, and we're already screwed because we didn't get rid of this, so... And as you can see, this module is very tricky to do. It's very tricky even with some of the easier examples. This one actually is quite tame, I think. But it definitely is going to produce some sort of issue here. So let's think about this kind of carefully here. Maybe we do 5, 4, 5, and we kind of go down the same pathway that we went beforehand. Where we do the 5, 4, the 4, 1, and the 3 here. Here. 3, 2... Bam, 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 maybe. I think I've cracked the code, maybe, here. Let me think. We do you, 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 and you. And just like that is a solved module. So there's a lot of brute forcing to this module, but as you can see, kind of just finding different starting points and recognizing the fact that some numbers are only being able to be reached by one specific number, in one specific position rather, is kind of the way that you're going to want to solve this module. I was able to figure out in quite an efficient time. And that's going to be what's going to happen here. And the sum of the numbers is always going to be between 24 and 32, by the way. I should mention that. But having those zeros is going to be very helpful for you, especially in that example, because we were able to eliminate a lot of options where the other numbers could have possibly gone, and already kind of seal some of the pathways down. It's just the order of which I needed to begin was the part that I needed to determine. That's kind of what I need to do. So let's take a look at one final example here. This module itself, not very tricky to understand, but it is kind of a cool concept, and it is definitely something that's it's kind of just better if you play around with it. Oh wow, this one's actually going to be really easy, I think. So immediately one of the things that I'm realizing here is that the 1 only has actually one position to be actually reached from, and that is actually this 3 right here. Very important to note down. And I believe actually what we need to kind of do here is we kind of actually need to start at the 5s, because these 5s are pretty much going to be connected to the 4, which we then can connect to the 6, then to the 3, and then the 1. So let's get rid of these 5s here. See if this one's actually quite simple. We get 4, then we get rid of the 3, then the 3, then the 1, then the 1. And I believe we have this thing figured out. And indeed we do. That one was actually quite simple. So So yeah, you can technically get some really simple ones like that, but obviously you can get some trickier ones like my last example. It's not guaranteed to be easy or hard, and obviously you can get a lot of easier examples, but essentially using the context clues that I was just given there can really help you and save you a lot of time, as well as planning out your path. It's not simply just going off of a random position. There actually is some sort of deduction that you actually can do with this puzzle. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.